On behalf of all of us, my name is Beasley saying so long and enjoy your evening. We'll see you on the 9th, Wednesday the 9th, taking on Vegas. Right now, though, Brendan Parker is standing by with tonight's Ram post-game show, brought to you by your Alberta Ram dealers.
Winning Motor Trend Truck of the Year 3 times in a row? That had never been done before. Then again, neither had a 12-inch touchscreen or 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Never been done before. It's just kind of our thing.
All right, welcome inside the post-game show. It's brought to you by Ram Truck, winner of Motor Trend Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. Brendan Parker riding solo on this post-game show here on Hockey Day in Canada. And what a nightcap it was to an action-packed day across the country and into the United States in terms of Canadian hockey teams in action, all 7 here today. And, of course, capped off with the Vancouver Canucks and Calgary Flames here this evening. A game that was scoreless all the way through regulation time. In fact, the 60 minutes solved nothing, so it goes over into the overtime session, and we finally get our first and, in fact, only goal of this hockey game, and it comes courtesy of Johnny Gaudreau. And without further ado, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about this hockey game as we roll along, but here is the one goal we saw this evening, and it comes courtesy the 3-on-3 overtime session. Johnny Gaudreau, he's part on the defensive side, which stops the offensive rush, and then back the other way on a 3-on-2. Takes the drop pass there from Elias Lindholm and makes good. 17th goal of the season. There you see, starts at one end and then finishes at the other. Johnny had a couple of pretty good looks here tonight. A penalty shot in the second period, didn't capitalize on that one. 5 shots total, but made no mistake with the placement of that clapper from the high slot. Beats Thatcher Demko on the 32nd shot the Calgary Flames threw at the Vancouver Canucks net here this evening. And what a hockey game it finishes out to be as the Calgary Flames victorious in the overtime frame and ends up picking up the 21st win of the season. So huge as we talk about, kind of placement heading into the All-Star break when they finally finish up the final 2 games before the All-Star break, which is dates in Dallas and Arizona to finish up pre-All-Star game. That'll be the official halfway mark for the Calgary Flames. Well behind, as we know, many other teams in the Western Conference as well as the National Hockey League, so they'll have plenty of games in hand to make up after that All-Star break is over. And, of course, a huge homestand here at the Scotiabank Saddledome to make up what was 8 rescheduled home games. So a huge victory here tonight. So those separated now by 4 points over the Vancouver Canucks. And, a lot of talk this week about, finding your way into a playoff spot when you reach that playoff, when you reach that All-Star break. And that is a big step forward here tonight for the Calgary Flames, who do move into one of those 2 wild card spots officially, thanks to the 2 points here this evening. Johnny Gaudreau gets his, I believe it's his 4th game-winning goal of the season, so 17 on the year for Johnny Gaudreau, the difference in this hockey game. Let's take a look at some of the chances in this game, though, because first period, there wasn't much as we get the stat sheet coming in hot off the press right now. Not much to speak of, really, in the first period. 7-1 with the shots. Calgary Flames just give up the 1 shot against. Jacob Markstrom strong, but let's take a look at Elias Lindholm in that second period, a guy that had a couple of numerous good looks in the middle of the zone. 5, opportunities for the Calgary Flames in that zone in terms of power play minutes. They had the 1 in the first period, of course, the early minor. They weren't able to score there. The 5-minute major, Tyler Myers takes the penalty and then not able to score on that one. But here's a night that Elias Lindholm had. A couple of good setups, the top line. This is one of those power play looks on the back door. Ends up catching a piece of the post there. And there were some pretty good looks, though, in that second period. And this was maybe one of the best ones, kind of a broken 2-on-1. Lindholm's able to take that pass from Johnny Gaudreau. Thatcher Demko, though, solid throughout the evening. Just looking at the stats kind of throughout in terms of leaders in this hockey game. We mentioned Johnny Gaudreau. He had the 5 shots. Eric Branson, he's in there as well. Dylan Dubé, a few different guys being able to direct some rubber on net in terms of the Vancouver Canucks. 32 of them when you look at what Calgary was able to put towards Vancouver's net. 15 against in terms of what Vancouver was able to generate. Well, we're going to hear from assistant coach Ryan Huska here in this post-game show as well, and some thoughts from the assistant coach. We'll hear from Daryl Sutter as well, and of course a couple of players. I'm sure Johnny Gaudreau will be among them. Hockey Day in Canada as well. Actually, the Snows are just setting up behind us. They'll be on after hours, featured with Scott Oak and Cassie Campbell-Pascal here tonight as well. Again, we'll hear from head coach or assistant coach Ryan Huska. We'll will join us in just a moment. Head coaches Daryl Sutter's headed to the podium as well. In fact, I see Ryan now getting set to join us here on the desk, so we'll welcome him in. And this is the beautiful part of live television. We just get him to sit right down, bringing it right on to live TV. How about that? How you doing, Coach?
Good, Parks. Yourself?
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, we just went through the highlights. It didn't take long in terms of goals. One goal, and it's the difference to get you 2 points. But, you look at kind of a game where you had to have some patience, a little bit of a grind. How would you describe it from a coach's perspective?
Almost the same as you just did, the grind part of it for sure. I mean, you do worry at times in these type of games where when it's not going for you, you're getting some shots, you're missing the net with some chances. He's making saves on the other side that you try to press or push a little too hard and you open yourselves up. But I thought we stuck with it. We played for 60 minutes. Our penalty kill did a good job in the third period in particular, and we found a way to get a win. And sometimes it takes more than 60 minutes, and we were happy that we stuck with it tonight.
When you say that, I mean, what does that say about your group and the place that they're at right now in terms of, their mentality, just that they're able to do that, as you say, stick with it?
Well, we're hopeful that it's a step in the right direction again for us. These close games that we find ourselves in, we want to be comfortable playing in them, whether you're up a goal, down a goal, or if you're tied. That ideally your team has the mentality that's no sweat, we're in good shape here, whatever the situation may be. So it's something that's learned a little bit, and I think our guys have done a good job over the course of the year getting themselves to that point. And this was a pretty good example of it. It could be a frustrating game, but I thought the players did a good job of sticking with it.
Yeah, some looks throughout the course of the game, as we know, and then just kind of look at it from a defensive perspective too, and just what you were able to give up or not give up. Yeah. I guess 15 shots I think is the end tally, but they weren't able to get inside, at least from our perspective. I mean, what did you see just in terms of the way you guys defended?
Yeah, about one thing I thought we did a really good job of was our pressure early on in the first period. We didn't give them time. They got their feet up the ice. We were right in their face. There was no room, and I thought our guys did a good job of that consistently. And then I know Marky wasn't busy tonight, 15 shots as you said, but he looked really good. His puck play was really good, and I think that helped us get out of our zone a lot tonight. And he's a great goaltender, and I think when you have a team that plays in front of someone like him, they're comfortable and confident, as we talked about it in these close games, because they know he'll make the save when he needs to.
I know the penalty kill has been, a big story for your team kind of here over the last little stretch. And, specifically at home, #1 in the National Hockey League, you do the job. And tonight was one of the, you mentioned it kind of in your initial address. You have a couple power plays early on and then late. But to get those two now obviously huge penalty kills as this game wears on, that's a tough spot for those guys, knowing, the situation you're in at that point.
Absolutely. But I think more so than just getting the kills done, I love the way we did it tonight. Our guys were committed to doing the hard things that have to be done on a penalty kill along the wall, making sure they're winning the loose puck battles. They were together, and that's an important thing. When our penalty kill is good, we skate, our sticks are good, and we pressure together, and I thought we did a good job of that tonight.
And Blake mentioned something, obviously Markstrom's a huge part of that, as he always is, or the goaltender, whoever's the goaltender that night. But, just about the sacrifice, that commitment level that, at some point you could draw it up as much as you want, but the defenders or guys in that spot have to be willing to kind of put that on the line every single time they're out there.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about. The guys that kill penalties often aren't the guys that get any attention after the game. And sometimes they have to do the hardest things, like you talk about blocking shots, or you're in the trenches along the walls. It's not easy being a penalty killer, but they all love it. They're proud of the role that they get to play, and they want to do a good job each and every time they step on the ice, even though they don't get the credit like a guy that maybe plays the power play and scores a goal or gets an assist does. But it's a cool thing, and I think that's what makes penalty killers special players.
Well, credit on the outside, and I know there's pride there too, but inside that locker room, inside the coach's room, there's lots of pride, or lots of praise.
High fives and knuckles, for sure.
And I do want to ask you quickly about the power play. I mean, I know you get those 5-minute majors, and a lot of times there's this tendency to think you got more time maybe, or how do you approach that when you get those 5 minutes? You want to make the most of it, obviously, but they're tough spots sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It is a challenge when you don't have success early on in those long ones. Then they start to think a little bit and maybe overhandle the puck a touch and maybe not do things as quick as we normally would. You give Vancouver some credit though; they killed penalties well tonight as well. But it's not always there every night. I think you always talk about wanting your power play to generate some momentum for us. I thought at spurts it did that for us tonight, but the great part about it was your top guys didn't get rewarded on the power play tonight, but they didn't get frustrated and they stayed with it. And it was pretty fitting that Johnny scores the overtime goal tonight, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. One last one for you, and that's we've talked about rhythm. There hasn't been a lot of it in the schedule, but you're finally kind of in one now, and I know the All-Star break's coming up, but maybe on that note, how important it is to take advantage of this stretch of games here to finish it off with these two on the road now.
Yeah, they're so important. I mean, every game from this point in, we said it basically from the beginning of the year that every game is going to be an important one for us to get the points that we need to get ourselves into the playoffs. And this is a big stretch. We want to go into this break, this shorter break, feeling really good about where our game is at. So we have 2 more road games. We want to make sure we're good and playing to our game in both of these.
Really appreciate the time. Thanks for the insight and the flyby by Johnny. We'll hear from him in a moment. Appreciate this. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Parks.
Assistant Coach Ryan Huska joining us here live on the postgame show, and this is the part where you're able to exit whenever you want. So I know this is always a part. It's live TV. We just sort of gracefully hand you off. But he's got more important things to do, like coaching. But we do appreciate the time from Assistant Coach Ryan Huska. We'll hear from Head Coach Daryl Sutter here in a moment. But maybe, guys, let's just hold on here. And if we get an opportunity to hear from Johnny right away, we'll step in and carry that live. I know he's on his way, so we'll listen in on what Johnny has to say about the evening here tonight and get his thoughts. Sitting down right now. Okay, perfect timing. So as we pick up Johnny Gaudreau, let's go now live to the Zoom call. Listen to see what Johnny has to say on the overtime victory here, 1-0 the final over the visiting Vancouver Canucks in OT.
Yeah, Johnny, maybe for starters, can you just take us through your overtime goal and just what it meant to kind of slog that one out the way you guys did tonight?
Yeah, I think I don't know who it was, tried to kind of beat us 1-on-3 there. I lost the puck in the middle. And then I sent it up to Lindy, gained the zone, sent it back to me, and I just put a low blocker.
And I know that this wasn't necessarily the prettiest game on either side, but what did you like about the way your group kind of grinded through it?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get frustrated. Obviously, we had a lot of looks tonight. Thatcher played well tonight over there. But, kind of stuck with it. Our power play, we didn't find the net. Our PK, stepped up and had some really big kills for us in the third. And Markey played great back there. And, a little bit of a boring game, but, it's a big 2 points for us.
And last one for me, can you just kind of expand on Jacob Markstrom? Obviously not a really busy night, but kind of stayed sharp. What did you think of him tonight?
Yeah, he's always great back there. Obviously, it's probably hard for goaltenders sometimes when you go through a period and I don't know how he might have 1 or 2 shots in the first, and I know that's probably difficult for goalies, but he stuck with it and made some huge saves for us in the second and third, and got another shutout. I feel like we say that a lot this year.
Okay, Haley Salvian.
Johnny, you mentioned that you guys stuck with it in this game. Have you seen growth in terms of your group's ability to stick with games like that or just stick in games in general?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's a long season. I mean, it's still kind of early for us. I mean, we haven't even – maybe that might have been our 40th game. I mean, we're not even halfway through the season, really, if you look at game-wise. So we have a lot to – we can keep building and get better and better. But, that was a great job by us, I think, tonight. We kind of, stuck with the game plan. Didn't really give them too many odd man rush opportunities and whatnot. So I thought we did a good job tonight.
Can you maybe describe, and I know this might be difficult, but can you describe how you keep a team to only 15 shots on goal? I believe that's the total amount at the end of the night, and that's the fewest that you guys have allowed this season. How do you guys do that?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of power plays, so that definitely helped us a little bit. But I mean, our D, are really good at blocking shots and getting in lanes. Our wingers, do a good job with that. And when we have the puck down low, we find the middle, and we did a great job kind of breaking out and not let them stick around in our zone for too long. Where they're just firing shots at our goaltender. So, I thought we did a good job there.
Okay, we'll take a couple more here. Darren Haynes first, and we'll go to Wes Gilbertson.
Johnny, knowing how competitive you are, this would have been a tough one for you had you lost 1-0, given you had a penalty shot earlier. Is it nice to be able to make sure you kind of put this game away when you did have a chance earlier in the game and weren't able to?
Yeah, obviously that would have kind of stung a little bit tonight. But I know Thatcher very well, and I scored a couple times high glove on him last year because we played him 15 or 16. I don't know how many times we played him last year, so I got the opportunity to score a couple times on the high glove, so I think he kind of knew it was coming. So then on the overtime goal, kind of just switched it up and went blocker side and found a way to beat him there.
Okay, last question to Wes Gilbertson.
Johnny, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here, but you mentioned Markstrom 7 shutouts. Like, what would you say is the player equivalent to a goalie having 7 shutouts already at this point in the season?
I don't know. It's a good question, but I can tell you he's a great goaltender. He keeps us in games. He's a great person off the ice. Love being around him in the locker room. I don't know what it compares to in other part of the game, but I do know that he's doing a really good job this year and he's playing really well for us.
Okay, thanks, John.
Yeah.
We call it the Ram 1500 Limited. But truth be told, there's nothing limited about it. Ram 1500, winner, J.D. Power Award for Best Driver Appeal.
All right, Flames Postgame Live is on the air. It's brought to you by Ram Truck, winner of Motor Trend Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. The Calgary Flames victorious in overtime over the visiting Vancouver Canucks. First of 4 meetings head-to-head between these two teams this season. Johnny Gaudreau ends up getting the overtime winner as the Flames pick up their 21st victory of the season. That's 4 game-winning goals for number 13 on the season, and none bigger than that one, of course. It is an overtime winner, and now sets up the final 2 games pre-All-Star break for the Calgary Flames. But all right, let's actually head right back into the Zoom room, as we call it. We're still on the old Zoom calls here at Flames TV, so let's join Jacob Markstrom. 7th shutout of the season. You heard Johnny asked about it a couple times. Just 15 saves, but some quality ones, and more importantly, ends up keeping them all out. 7th shutout of the season, which leads the National Hockey League. Let's hear from Jacob Markstrom now.
Jacob, for starters, how would you kind of sum up this night? It was a little bit of a different game. How would you sum it up?
Yeah, obviously, in the first, we were pushing them back, and I helped. We got a 2-minute penalty, and then we got the 5-minute penalty. So we were spending a lot of time in their zone, but obviously couldn't capitalize on our chances. And then period was over pretty much. That's how it felt for me. They didn't create much, and we did a great job in our own zone to move the puck up. And then second period a little bit more back and forth, and then I thought in the third they had a few chances, but not much. It was a defensively great game by us, and I think the penalty kill did obviously a great job tonight. When they got the penalty with 4 minutes left, and to kill that off, it was that was huge. And then it's nice to get these games where you kind of feel like you deserve to win, but it's 0-0 going into overtime, and it's nice to get the Johnny comes up big after he has some chances during the game to score, but well deserving to get that overtime goal.
I know a goalie would never knock on Daryl's door and ask for more shots, but what are the challenges of seeing so few at your position?
Well, it's to kind of stay engaged in the game, and keep it's easier to keep your focus when you get some shots from the outside, but I'm never going to complain of getting not enough shots. We're playing really good defensively, and I think we needed that, and I needed to step my game up too as well from last game in St. Louis. So it's a good bounce back, but we gotta keep pushing here. We got 2 more games before the break, and those are big points.
And just one more for me. What does 7 shutouts for you and I think 8 overall say about this hockey team?
Well, I think Dan got 2, so 9 overall. But it says that we're playing good defensive hockey. So that's I can't just look at myself and take the honor. It's it's everyone. So it's a great thing to be a goalie when we play games like this, and we're really crisp in our D zone, and we're making plays, and we're breaking out, and we're spending time in their zone instead of ours. So it's I will never complain when that happens during the game.
Okay, Darren Haynes, go ahead.
Wes kind of took my question, but Jacob, you were in net for a 1-0 overtime win just over 2 years ago with Vancouver. But that night you made 43 saves. I was just wondering, what do you remember about that night and just how different tonight was?
Yeah, I remember it pretty well. I think Elias Pettersson scored a backhander there short side a couple minutes into overtime. But obviously a lot busier, a lot of more shots. But it's a great win. It's always good, especially when you're on this side, when you feel like your team is playing really good, and we we had chances, and Demko played a great game in the other end, and it's easy to get frustrated, but I thought we stuck to our game plan, and we grind them down, and we got the 1-0 win.
You mentioned Demko. How much of that in a game is kind of you one-on-one against the goalie trying to kind of outsave the other guy?
Well, that's kind of the only one-on-one battle you can have, where I can't say I'm going to play better than a player. I got to play better than the other goalie, and then they're obviously when you look at a game, that's a goalie is such a big part of a team, and if you're having a bad night, you're gonna lose. If you're a goalie, if you're having a little off night as a player, you can still get a point or so. So it's important for me to get more consistent. I feel like some nights when everything is going well and you're feeling good, and then you got to keep that and don't have we had the Columbus on the road, and then we won and no goals against, and then you have 5 goals against the next day, and then you come home and now we have no goals against. So I have to keep it down on those. You can't just alternate having a good game and then letting 5 in and then having a good game. You got to stay a little bit more consistent, and I think that's a big priority for me to do moving forward here.
Okay, thanks, Marky.
Thanks.
Okay, media day off tomorrow.
All right, there's some thoughts from the goaltender, Jacob Markstrom. He makes 15 saves, 7th shutout of the season for him. And, of course, that leads the National Hockey League. But he mentioned it there. Dan Vladar also has a pair of shutout victories as well. So now 9 team total shutouts for the Calgary Flames this season as they move into the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference right now, 48 points through 40 games played. So tomorrow night, I shouldn't say tomorrow night, the next game in Dallas 2 nights from now will be their 41st and official midway point of the season. All right, let's quickly, before we wrap up the post-game show, get a chance to hear from the head coach, Daryl Sutter. He joins us now through the Zoom call and taking some questions from the media. Here's Daryl now on tonight's victory.
Sure. Daryl, maybe for starters, just what was your assessment of this game tonight?
I think it was a game where you just had to stick with it. I think it was a little bit disjointed because of penalties and the major penalty, and but I thought we stuck with it and deserved to win, that's for sure.
What did you think of your goalie? Obviously, he wasn't very busy, but I know that can bring some challenges of its own. What did you think of him tonight?
I think he was still really sharp. He handled the puck for us a lot. They were putting pucks in a lot, and he made plays, and he was still sharp, and he covered pucks when he had to. He recognized whistles, things like that. And then when you needed him, you think in the third period that really the difference in the game is they have 2 power plays in the third, and our penalty count is the difference in the game, which includes Jacob.
Ryan Pike.
Daryl, what was your opinion of your power plays performance overall? I mean, it's pretty tough not to get anything for that 5-minute power play, but did you like what you generated overall?
I think we got to do more in the middle of the ice again. When they get teams with those big defensemen that protect the front of the net and around in the middle, I think you just need to keep it really simple and funnel more pucks there and have more guys around the net.
And similarly, with their 5-on-5 play, do you feel like you did enough to make the evening miserable for Thatcher Demko, or do you think you saw a bit too much?
Holy cow, we won the game 1-0, Ryan. I mean, if you want to critique the game, go ahead.
Okay, Haley Salviant.
Sorry, Daryl, that's Jacob Markstrom's 7th shutout this season. Is that a credit to how sharp he's been in games like this, as you mentioned, but also this team's ability to keep the shot count?
Shutouts are 100% team related, 100%. Special teams. The only thing I'd say tonight that you normally wouldn't get a shutout in situations like that is we lost a lot of faceoffs in the D zone. So other than that, I think that we didn't give them very much at all.
Anything else? Wes, back to you.
Yeah, if I can just squeeze one more in, Daryl.
Yep.
Like that stick with it that you talked about and kind of grinding this one out, is that an area you've seen growth in since you got back to Calgary?
I think it's an area, Wes, that we talk about every day with the players about is, it's not always about the physical part, it's about the preparation mentally and being able to stay with it during games. There's always bad calls, bad goals, things like that, and you have to be able to stick with it. Doesn't mean you win all the time, but if you have that winning attitude, in the long run, it will help, especially some of our young players.
Okay, thanks, Daryl.
All right, there is some final thoughts from the head coach, Daryl Sutter, and one of the themes certainly that we've heard from everybody tonight, whether it be Johnny, Jacob, or both of the coaches, was just kind of sticking with it, not letting some of the frustration creep in, which as it can, you get opportunities, some good looks, not able to score throughout regulation time, and that frustration never did set in, so kudos to the Calgary Flames here on this night, and kudos to them as a defensive unit as well. Just give up the 15 shots, get the team shutout, as you heard there from head coach Daryl Sutter as well. All right, we'll park this one and look ahead now to the final 2 road games of the season for the Calgary Flames. As for tonight, though, on Hockey Day in Canada, the nightcap tonight, a 1-0 overtime victory. The goal courtesy Johnny Gaudreau, the shutout courtesy Jacob Markstrom. Up next for the Calgary Flames, the final 2 games to close out the pre-All-Star schedule. This one going in Dallas a couple of nights from now, Tuesday, against the Stars before heading to Arizona to wrap it up. As for the next home game, well, there'll be a lot of them coming up in February. As we know, a lot of makeup dates. The first one is on Wednesday, February the 9th, the first game back here at the Scotiabank Saddledome with the Golden Knights coming into town. Look forward to seeing you back at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Until then, thanks for watching Flames Post Game Live. Have a great night.